One thing that I have no shortage of is old axe heads. Every time I see one, I pick it up. If it's $5 or less and in good condition, I go ahead and grab it. And if you're a person like me, you're always got your eyes open, so you can end up with quite a few. And I wanted to put together a video of getting one of those axe heads cleaned up and a handle made for it, so I chose this. This is a 5-pound felling axe in pretty good condition. It's got a little pitting on one side and a little mushrooming on the pole from where someone was hitting on it, but other than that, it's a really nice axe head. The blade is its full length. Oftentimes you'll see these things sharpened back to about here, which makes them pretty much worthless. But this one will make quite the showpiece once it's done. So once we get the head all cleaned up, we'll make a hickory handle for it. So let's just go ahead and get started. Here's a closer look at the axe head just to show you a detail. And I started out by taking it to a belt grinder, and right here you're going to see exactly why you wear safety glasses. The belt snaps and hit me right in the eyes, so put those on. Once I got a belt replaced and put back on the machine, I went back at it, and all I'm doing here is taking the sort of the mushrooming off and being sure to keep it cool. But this axe head's got a lot of mass to it, so you cannot easily heat it up. My rule of thumb is pretty much just any time it starts to get warm in my hands, go ahead and cool it off in a bucket of water. And the pole of the axe right there that you see is all smooth now had a lot of hammer marks on it, so I went ahead and ground them off with the grinder and smoothed it down. And right there was a little mushrooming into the eye of the axe, so I filed that out to where the handle could come through smoothly. For the handle, I'm using a piece of hickory, and you can see my lines that I've drawn on there to go by. So I start out just by removing the bulk of the material with an axe, just sort of chunking it out and knocking those chips off. And this is a bone-dry piece of hickory, so it is quite tough to work with the draw knife, but the draw knife is sharp and you can get it done. Here I'm drawing a center line, and that will help better place the head. I have it upside down there to where I can trace out the shape of the eye. And you can see my guidelines there that I'll begin to shape out with the draw knife. And pretty much from here you're just sort of shaping it down and test fitting as you go, but you have quite a long ways to go before you can get that initial test fit. And there I'm sort of just working it with the rasp. I've got the head fit for the first time and working in all the last little shape to the part that goes through the eye. And this is just sort of test mounting it. And once I found out that it could pretty much almost get to where I wanted it snugged up, I went ahead and started shaping out the shaft of the handle. And I had 2 center line guides for doing that too, just to keep me going straight. Using a large back saw, I cut the slot for the wedge, and then the handle was pretty much done. I did give it a light sanding. And to mount a axe head, it's called hanging an axe head. You just hit on the back side of the handle, the butt of the handle, and it will sort of shock it right on. And that's a hickory wedge. I just cut that on the bandsaw, got it shaped good, and then cut it off with a little small coping saw flush with the head. And you can see there it's a nice tight fit, filling all the space. For finish, I'm using some linseed oil, just rubbing it on with a little rag there. And for sharpening, I decided to go very old school traditional, using a pedal style little grinding wheel. And you can see the little triangular cut below that drips water slowly and keeps the blade cool and from particles from building up in the stone wheel. From doing all the grinding and the rough sharpening on the wheel, it's a lot of exposed metal mixed with some of the darker metal. So using some Brownell's bluing, this is called Oxbow Blue. It's a bluing liquid. You just apply it with some steel wool, kind of rubbing it on there, and it turns it a nice dark color, and that adds a layer of rust prevention instead of just leaving it raw metal. And just went ahead, followed it up the initial grind using an axe stone, the coarse and then the fine side, till it was sharp. And what axe video is complete without chopping something down? So this is about a 12-foot tall pole that the power company had already cut down. It was sort of leaning towards the power line, so I got him to leave it that tall just because I knew I'd end up doing a test video And as you can see, this axe is working quite well. It is removing some pretty big chunks of wood, and that's what you want in an axe. You want it doing the work for you as much as possible. And the edge held up great. There were 2 small nicks in the cutting edge before I worked it, but to keep as much metal on the blade, I decided not to grind them all the way out. They'll get taken out next time.
Well, I'm really glad I ended up choosing this axe head to put back into action. My other felling axe is, I think, about a 3.5 or 3 pound head on that, and it just doesn't compare to a 5 pound head. This thing is like dynamite when it hits the tree, blasts out some major chunks of wood. So this is going to be a really good cutter, and I ended up having to make the handle about 2 inches shorter than I thought I was going to have to. I was going to put a little bit of a sort of a palm swell on the end, but I ended up not getting able to do that, so it's just straight off the end, making this handle 34 inches, not 36 inches like I was planning. But it has a really good feel. The angle of the head is just right. It strikes right where you need it to in the blade. It's not too far towards the bottom edge or the top edge. It's pretty much dead center. And like I said, its weight is a really nice feel. It will wear you out. Just cutting down that one tree, it's quite a little work out there. Get you breathing pretty hard, but each swing is, I think, probably equivalent of 2 swings with a 3 pound felling axe. And they make them even heavier. They make felling axes, I think, up to like 7 pound heads, which you'd have to be a real man to wield that. But if you have any axe heads laying around the house that you've been considering putting back into action, making a handle, either just putting a store-bought handle on them, I suggest go ahead, do the work, get the axe head back in good condition and mount it up on a handle. It's a real fun project. I've done a couple other ones, sort of hatchets and other axes, but I really liked mounting this one today and cutting that tree down there. So with all that said, if you enjoyed this video and you would like to see other videos like it, subscribe to my channel and you will get updates when I make future uploads. And I'll also be posting pictures and comments over on Facebook, and you can find all appropriate links down under the video in the description. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
To subscribe to my channel, click the red button in the lower left-hand corner.